Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Um, Today, just gonna talk very quickly about the, uh, the game yesterday. Um, so I've always said that the Heat would either take out the Celtics in either 5 or 6 games. I said chances are after the Celtics won Game 4, the fact that Game 5 would happen, like the Heat would not let it go to 7 games. Well, in this situation, they were blown out, and it made sense in a way. So I thought, like with the fact that Tatum going all out on the first quarter, the tilt he might tire out by the fourth quarter. But in reality, what happens is almost the entire team decided to show up this time, basically to the point like it didn't have to be in Tatum. I mean, Tatum having 20 points, Brown having 20 some odd points as well too. And then, of course, Smart having about 20 points as well too. But the fact that they all like the starters themselves, the fact that the starters themselves actually all combined had at least 20 points or double digits, as well as a double digit steals, which is a real surprise. That was like really impressive to the point where like they had that much of that many steals. Uh, I mean, in this situation, they had 12 steals from the stars themselves. Uh, Essentially, the Heat gave more turnovers than the Celtics. And the other biggest factor, this is the biggest one of all. Out of all of it, this is the biggest one. When it came to 3 point percentages, the Celtics were 41%. They had 16 out of 39 basically, compared to 3 points that the Heat were doing essentially. So I'm looking at the stats to show you basically at this point. Same thing as well too is blocks. I mean, the Celtics had 4 blocks compared to the Heat's 2, and of course points in the paint was a big thing I think as well too, and the fact that the Celtics didn't give any as many fouls is also impressive as well too. That was one of the other factors too. So they didn't have that many fouls, and of course the fact is like free throw percentage wise, they were 73% compared to the Heat's 80. But then again, the Heat went 10 times to the free throw line of hitting 8 of it basically. But that was that was good in that perspective, but from a perspective of looking at the number of points, basically, it's the fact that Tatum, Smart, White, and Brown all had 20 points, at least minimum of 20 points or 20 points plus. Harford was the only one that had 6 points, but he was really there for more of the rebounds more than anything else as well too. And the bench, I mean, like they didn't produce as much compared to the Heat, but the fact is Butler was held down to 14 points, which was impressive from what the Heat did. Adebayo, sorry, had 16 points. So looking from that perspective, I mean, Love not so much as well too, and Robinson had 18 points. And Highsmith, I mean, those two were in double digits, which was a little bit of like, whoa, what's going on? Especially Robinson having 18 points. I think it's the fact that they were able to, Butler was having an off night practically. Um, I would say look for the Heat to replicate what it was with the Knicks to win in 6 games, because there's no way the Heat's gonna let this go to a game 7. If it goes to a game 7, they lose. I hate to say this, but they lose if they go to a game 7 in this case, because the Celtics will build that confidence having come down from 0-3 to bring it to game 7. If they do that, they'll be the second Boston team that has ever done that and potentially win. If they can do that, well, then they'll replicate that other Boston team as well too. So let's put it this way: the Heat can't afford to go to a game 7. They go to a game 7, they lose. It was similar, the same exact thing with the Knicks and the Heat. When they went to game 6, if the Knicks were to have beaten the Heat in game 6 in Miami, they would have taken them out in game 7 for sure. They would have been out in game 7 for sure. That's why I think in this situation, the Celtics, they have to come out hard to play to go to a game 7. If they can go to a game 7, that confidence will carry over into Game 7, and I think it will deject the Heat so badly that Game 7 won't be. And Butler can only do so much. Again, let's not forget, Butler is also temperamental. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to call this out right now. I honestly believe that the Heat will beat the Celtics in 6 games. I think the Heat are going to go against the Denver Nuggets in the finals. There's not going to be a game 7. I don't think the Heat can afford to go to a game 7. If it does to go to a game 7, look for the Celtics to win the series then. And that would be unprecedented for the Celtics to come back 0-3 basically. So let's, like I said, I'm calling the Heat winning in game 6. I think I've been calling it all the time. I said the Heat's never going to get this, make us go over 7 games. They're going to do it in 6 games. And it seems like that's what's happening basically. So I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts. What you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm dead wrong? Or do you think I might be right? Only way the Celtics can come out and win this next game, the game 6, like I said, the only way they could do this is if they do what they did with Butler again, what they did in Butler game 5. They got to limit him. He's got to be very limited. Let the other players beat you out. Because without the other team, with the rest of the team, like look at Robinson. Like I said, Robinson had 18 points. Baya had 16 points, and Highsmith had 15. You thought with those players with that many points should be enough to have won, but no, they need Butler. Butler's integral to this team. So let's put it this way. And Strauss was held under 3 points as well as Lowry. So the fact that Butler and Lowry were not their usual selves, I think also played a huge factor. And the fact is, I think the Celtics, if you look at the defense, defensively speaking, Miami broke down on the defense. They were just broken down. I mean, you could tell, some of the stuff that the Celtics were doing, it's as though the Heat didn't want to win in Boston. It seems like they didn't want to win in Boston. So look for them to come back defensively speaking. Because Spoelstra will look at the tape and it's there was the defensive breakdowns here. I could show some highlights, but I wish I could, but I can't, unfortunately, because YouTube will mark it off as basically, as copyright and, block this video. So as I'm saying is basically look for Spoelstra to look at the tapes, show the defensive breakdowns, and then basically look for the Heat to adjust and then win game 6. But if the Celtics can actually break the lane away from the Heat and actually keep them loose, keep the Heat's defense loose, then the Celtics are going to win at this point. Because that was the one thing with the first 3 games was the Celtics defense adjusted to the Heat's defense adjusted to the Celtics, that they blocked down the lanes and had to shoot all the threes, but the Celtics had to make contested threes. In this case, game 5, the threes were not contested. Same thing with game 4, not as much, but game 5, the threes were not as contested as compared to game 1, 2, and 3. So let's look at it from there. With that, I'll leave it at that. Like I said, please leave your comment in the comment section. I do read them. I do respond to them all when they warrant a response. And I do say this is let me know your thoughts. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think the Celtics can win? Do you think they can force a game 7? Do you think they can win the series? Or do you think the Heat can't afford to go to game 7, or can the Heat go to game 7 and actually win a game 7 if it does go to a game 7? With that, I'll leave it at that. And also, if you have subscribed but you like my videos, please subscribe. If you like my video, like my content, like my channel, again, subscribe if you haven't. If you don't like them, same thing, but still watch my videos, you're welcome to subscribe to watch my content, subscribe to watch my content. And also, please hit the like or dislike button. I can actually focus on what my content of the channels should be a little bit. I know I'm all over the board if you've seen my channel, but I'm trying to keep it at that nature, but it's hard to determine where I should focus on. Right now, it's easy for me to discuss about the NBA playoffs right now. So with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.